So you love views, and San Francisco has no shortage of them. We have bay views, city views, bridge views, views of hillsides, landmarks, and of course the ocean. Where do all these views exist and how much are they gonna cost you? I'm gonna rank the neighborhoods with the views to die for, from the least expensive to the most expensive, down to the best view streets in each. You may not have even heard of my starting point neighborhood, but stick around till the end because as the prices go up, the views just keep getting better. And with the median home price in San Francisco costing around 1.7, I can tell you that it's gonna cost more than $1 million in most of these neighborhoods for these views. I've lived in the Bay Area for over 20 years, and because I've sold over $1 billion in real estate in the last 15 years, I've spent a lot of time in these areas working with buyers and sellers on the hunt for a view home. I thought I'd start with a few spots where you can purchase a home with a view at or near the median price. So I'm gonna lump 3 neighborhoods into one here: Bayview, Portola, and Visitation Valley. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have as much experience in this area of town as many others. We've sold a few homes over there in the last few years, and every time I get out there, I'm actually shocked at what you can get for your money and how big the views are. Many of our buyers tell us that they worry about safety, and that's not something I can really speak to, but I will say from experience, it's very block by block in every neighborhood. I also listed a home a few years back in the Bayview, and the seller actually told me that she felt like it was the best community that she ever lived in. She mentioned that when she would walk pregnant to the 3rd Street rail, people would actually stop the train for her to wait so that she could get on. I always try to spend some time in some neighborhoods when I have some listings, so I did there as well, and I spent some time on 3rd Street eating at some of the restaurants, and I found some really great spots there. And it's pretty cool around that 3rd Street corridor, and the weather in the neighborhood is also really great, and then of course you have the 3rd Street rail. We had a listing recently in Visitation Valley. It's currently in contract for $1.75 million. We actually got over 10 offers on the property, and that would put it at $581 a square foot. It had incredible views of the bay and the hills, and it really offered a lot for the money. I'm Ruth Krishnan, and I'm founder of the Krishnan team. My team and I have ranked among the top agents in San Francisco for over a decade, and every day we help buyers and sellers just like you looking to make that smooth move into or within San Francisco. We'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. Feel free to text us to set up a call and answer any questions you have. Coming in at number 9, we have South Beach. South Beach is going to be the most different neighborhoods on my list in terms of products. South Beach has tons of great views, weather, and walkability. Primarily here, you're going to find luxury high-rise buildings, rich in amenities with a mix of older, newer developments and conversion lofts. The good news about the neighborhood is that there really is something for everyone in terms of price. You can score a small 1 to 2 bedroom home with views for as low as $1 million, maybe even less. The sky is going to be the limit in terms of prices. Luxury condos can be found in the tens of millions of dollars, depending on sizes, amenities, and finishes, and of course, views. We sold this one last year in the Lumina for the mid-2s, and the views were extraordinary. Coming in at number 8 is nearby Potrero Hill, and that's another really great spot to consider. It's a close second to South Beach in terms of weather, and the views are amazing. The views are going to be of downtown, the water, the bridge. I'd say the walkability is mid. 18th Street has quite a few shops and restaurants, but the commercial district there is pretty small. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that you're going to have to pay up for walkability to the most happening commercial corridors. Getting out of Potrero on foot actually poses some challenges because it's actually quite hilly. While there are gorgeous single-family homes there, there's also a lot of condos and TICs. Condos are going to range from boutique buildings with historic charm to newer mid-rise development condo building. A really nice view condo is likely going to start around the $2.5 million price point, and a nice view home is going to run you between $5 million and $8 million, depending on how nice and how new and how big it is, and of course, how big are those views. For number 7, we're gonna head a bit west, but still on the south end of town to a little section of Glen Park known as Fairmont Heights. The weather's not as good as Potrero Hill, but it's a solid 6 or 7, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10. Walkability's not gonna be great. The commercial district in Glen Park is quite far and also quite small. And although Noe is really close by proximity-wise, most people don't consider it super walkable from these areas due to the hills. One of the most well-known sections of this area is Laidley Street, where they have epic views, and there are some additional streets like Beacon and Everson that also have really incredible views. These downtown views are arguably some of the best in the city, and it's located close to the 280 for easy access to the tech and the bio companies in the peninsula. Glen Park also has a BART station, but honestly, I think you need to drive from here to get to it. Prices for a single family home here are going to be between the $5 and $10 million, with a few outliers in the $20 million range, like this one here on Everson. There are also some homes that have been developed in the area that have not and probably will not hit the market that would easily go for the high teens or even over 20 million. Coming in at number 6, for even better views, we're going to head over to Clarendon Heights, where not only do you get downtown, but you also pick up the Golden Gate Bridge and the water. You're higher up, and as a result, your weather score is going to go down a bit. Here's an example of one that just hit the market under $20 million. I toured it this week, and I will tell you, I did not want to leave. Similar to Fairmont Heights, the walkability in my mind is 0, but due to its central location, you can be almost anywhere in the city really quickly by car. But if you want to venture out on foot or take public transportation, you're in for a bit of a disappointment. A good price point for a home in this area is going to be between $3 and $5 million, but for something truly tricked out and done with crazy views, expect to pay high teens or even $20 million. Coming in at number 5 is the Marina, but really it's just one street that has the best views, and that is Marina Boulevard. It has unparalleled views of the bay and the Golden Gate Bridge, and there's something about being directly on the water that makes the view extra big. Marina Boulevard is busy. It's practically the on-ramp for the freeway, but I think it's worth it. And you do get a better price because of that busyness than some other neighborhoods or some streets with that kind of up-close view. I love the lively, active nature of this neighborhood. People are always running or biking along Christie Field. I find that really inspiring. Also, you're super close to walk to Chestnut or Union Street, which are arguably ranked among the most highly desirable walking districts in all of San Francisco. Similar to South Beach, the Marina is flat and easily walkable. The weather's not quite as good, but I'd say it's a solid 6.5. One downside to this section of town is that it's all liquefaction, and for some, that's actually a deal breaker. We've covered liquefaction in other videos, so if you want to check that out, we'll link that in the description below. Over the past few years, homes on this street have traded between $4 and $10 million, depending on the level of finishes. Something on the lower end of that range is undoubtedly in need of a lot of work. It's not to say that these homes are unlivable, but to bring it up to the level of a nice new home, it would take millions of dollars in construction. Coming in at number 4, we have Liberty Hill, which is a little area in Eureka Valley that has epic views of downtown. They're not quite as big of city views as you find in Claremont Heights or Fairmont Heights, but they are really close, and you get a bit more walkability. Like the previously mentioned neighborhoods, it does of course sit on a hill, and there are some sections that are quite steep, but they're short. They're like 1 block or 2 blocks. So if you're not afraid of a little climb, then one thing that makes this area really special in addition to the views is that it's very close to 3 great neighborhoods, all with their own restaurants, shops, and bar scene: the Mission, the Castro, and Noe. Prices typically range between $4 and $10 million, though rarely there are some homes in the high teens. And there's also been several homes built or in the process of being built by well-known billionaires. Mark Zuckerberg sold his home here in 2022 for $31 million, and many other notable tech titans remain. Although many of these houses haven't changed hands since being built, if and when they do come on the market, they're more than likely going to be well north of $20 million. Since this neighborhood is a little further south, it's going to be easier if you work at a tech company in the peninsula, but you can also easily get downtown. Heading back up to the north side over to our number 3 spot is Russian Hill. The mix of views in Russian Hill is truly unique. You can find a mix of water and bridge views, sometimes mixed with city views. It's hard to find that in other neighborhoods. Some of the best views can be found on Chestnut, Larkin, Hyde, Powell, and Lombard. This little stretch of Chestnut is considered the Gold Coast of Russian Hill. From this house, you're going to get amazing views of the water, but also views of downtown, and they feel a little closer than, say, of Liberty Hill. It's hard to get this in a single family home, and you'll only ever find views like this in Russian Hill. The downside to Russian Hill is I would say walkability is subpar compared to some of the northern counterpart neighborhoods like Pack Heights, which we're gonna hit next. In Russian Hill, however, you do get close proximity to downtown, and you also get close access to a very lively neighborhood, North Beach, which offers a lot of amazing eateries and a truly special Italian vibe. Russian Hill is primarily made up of condos. Last year, there were actually 67 homes sold in Russian Hill, and only 10 of those were single-family homes. Since there's such a limited supply of single-family homes and the views are so special here, they really do add a premium. A super large, nice, decked-out home here is going to run you north of $10 million and even up into the $20 million price point. The good news is that you can get breathtaking views in a condo for close to $1 million. We just sold one on Filbert Street, and it's currently in contract for $1.35 million. Number 2 on the list is Pack Heights, where you're going to find views of the Bay, the Golden Gate Bridge, and in some cases, the Palace of Fine Arts. The big view streets in Pack Heights are Broadway, Vallejo, and Pacific. All the big view streets run east to west, and the biggest view houses sit on the north side of the street. On the north side of the street, you're going to give up some sun for those views, but since Pack Heights is on a hill, typically you're not going to really have any obstructions because the hill goes down towards the bay. Pack Heights is actually considered very walkable, but some of the view streets tend to be not as walkable, and this is true for most homes with views because typically you have to be located on a hill. Depending on where you are in the neighborhood, you can walk to Fillmore or Union Street, and both of those have amazing shopping and restaurants. There's also a lot of green space nearby. Between the Presidio, Alta Plaza, and Lafayette Park, there's no shortage of places to enjoy those views. You can get a nice large view home in Pack Heights north of $10 million, and they go up from there. Homes on the famous Billionaires Row from Lion Street to DeVis on Broadway fetch $35 million and above. You can find the mansions of PayPal creator David Sachs, Larry Ellison of Oracle, Salesforce's Mark Benioff, and Apple's design genius Johnny Ive. If you don't have $10 million, you can still score a condo there with views. For a relatively affordable price point, a really big view condo that's 2 to 3 bedrooms is going to start north of $3 million and go up from there. Okay, we've made it to number 1, and that's going to be Seacliff. And if you've been following my videos for a while, you know this is one of my favorite areas. Here, you're going to find views of the Bay, the Golden Gate Bridge, and Land's End. And if the home is situated just perfectly, you're going to get all 3. As with most neighborhoods, the views in Seacliff vary, with the most expensive ones being on Seacliff Avenue, followed by El Camino del Mar. There's a house getting ready to be listed there on Seacliff Avenue for $25 million. Interestingly enough, I was looking into this home for a buyer, and that same house sold 30 years ago for $2.2 million. And from what I can tell, it's not been updated since. Now, that is some appreciation that you can bank on. If you're looking for a home on one of these best view streets, like right up on the water, you may have to wait a long time, and the compromises are going to be steep. When I've had the pleasure of listing homes in the neighborhood, I've met people who have been waiting for years for the right home with the right updates at the right price. Seacliff has also been home to several tech titans, including Mark Benioff, Jack Dorsey, and though it's not the case anymore, Sharon Stone was there, and Robin Williams used to have a home there as well. If you live in the neighborhood, you're going to have to give up the walkability to the shops and the restaurants, but that won't stop you from getting out on a walk to nearby Land's End or around the Presidio. Also, just walking around the neighborhood is amazing. The look and the feel of the homes there are beautiful. The streets are wide and the homes are really well manicured. Since there's only single-family homes in this neighborhood, there isn't an entry-level option. A home on the best streets that practically sits on that ocean is going to range between $6 and $25 million, depending on the condition it is, how large it is, and of course the view. At $6 million, that's going to be a complete teardown. But if you're willing to move back a few streets, you can still get a really nice home with really great views for $5 to $6 million. If you're looking for some hidden gems, watch this, and I'll add the links to all these neighborhoods in the videos in the description below. You may be finding yourself with even more questions than ever. To take a deep dive into the San Francisco neighborhoods, head on over to our neighborhood vlog playlist, which is linked in the description. For more help finding the right neighborhood for you, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss another video.